Shanghai, one of the biggest, busiest and most developed cities in the People's Republic of China. About 60% of the 13 million inhabitants of Shanghai live in the downtown area. Shanghai's metropolitan area covers about 800 square kilometers. Shanghai is a port city, with the Huangpu River as the main gateway for ships to arrive and depart. The Huangpu River is always busy with a myriad of activities. Apart from merchant ships, the river is also the main route for small boats laden with 1,001 types of goods, to be unloaded at wharfs along the river. The rapid development of Pudong's free trade zone of late has strengthened this metropolitan city's image. Skyscrapers, each with its own unique architecture, rise like mushrooms after a monsoon rain. It is not a surprise, therefore, to know that Shanghai City is also named the Architecture Museum. Shanghai is an economic centre which has become the hub for commercial, industrial, technological, financial and communications activities. This materialistic development, however, does not tarnish the identity of Shanghai as one of the most historical cities in China. Shanghai has become the destination for thousands of tourists who want to see for themselves the wealth and uniqueness of China's heritage. This is a famous tourist spot, situated in the centre of Shanghai City. Apart from shopping, tourists can also witness the beauty of Chinese traditional architecture. It is estimated that there are about 50,000 Muslims in Shanghai. The complete history of the arrival of Islam to this city has not yet been documented. However, it is claimed that Islam was introduced into Shanghai 700 years ago, either during the end of the Song dynasty or during the early Yuan dynasty. In 1843, when Shanghai opened its trade route with the outside world, its bond with Islam was strengthened. Today in Shanghai, there are a total of 5 schools, a hotel, a restaurant, a food manufacturing factory and a slaughterhouse, which are managed and handled entirely by Muslims. Shanghai also has 6 mosques, one of which is the Jiatao Yuan Mosque, situated in southern Shanghai. We were welcomed by Musa Jin Hong Wai, 37, the mosque's imam. Imam Musa, a local, was born in a non-Muslim family. When he was 21, Musa came to the mosque to learn about Islam. After frequenting the mosque for some time, his heart opened to embrace Islam as a way of life. It was here that Musa furthered his knowledge in Islam. 8 years ago, the locals appointed him as imam and teacher here. The Jiatao Yuan Mosque was built in the 14th century and was renovated in 1930. Before being renovated, this mosque was small, and peach trees abounded in its courtyard. After the renovation, this mosque was renamed Jiatao Wan, which means small peach garden. The road in front of the mosque is subsequently called the Small Peach Garden Road. Today, however, there are no more peach trees around. Although there are no more peach trees, they are still fresh in our minds. Once, the mosque maintained a small school adjacent to this building. The imam frequented this school to teach his students. However, it was closed down 2 years ago. After the closure of the school, We decided to convert this place into a museum and the office of the local Islamic Society. In the collection of this museum are a few copies of the Quran, some quite new, others a few hundred years old. Also on display is this bronze container which is etched with Arabic script. A Quran smaller than a box of matches is among the valuable collections of this museum. Our journey to track down the history of the development of Islam in Shanghai does not end at Jia Taoyuan Mosque. We were told that there is another mosque in the province of Songjiang, which is said to be the oldest mosque in Shanghai. We decided to find it. Songjiang, our next destination, is about 2 hours' drive from Shanghai city. During the Yuan dynasty in the 13th and 14th century, Songjiang had been a strategic district for the military. At the same time, Muslim soldiers who had worked under the Yuan ruler built this mosque called the Songjiang Mosque. This mosque is now open to visitors who are interested in learning about the local Islamic history in greater detail. The greenery surrounding the mosque gives an aura of calmness and tranquility. The Songjiang Mosque is considered one of the oldest mosques in China. There are two views regarding the early history of the building of this old mosque. According to the first view, Emperor Qi Cheng, the ruler of the Yuan dynasty who ruled from 1341 to 1368, once appointed a Muslim judge named Nasruddin to work for him. It was this judge who was said to have built this mosque. However, according to the second view, this mosque was built by Muslim soldiers who served under the Yuan dynasty emperor. According to record, when the Mongols from the Yuan dynasty entered southern China, a number of its Muslim soldiers of Persian ancestry decided to stay. The Songjiang Mosque clearly shows the influence of Chinese architecture and culture. Our group was met by a few of the mosque's committee members. The Songjiang Mosque, also known as the Zhenjiao Mosque, has been gazetted as a historical building by the local government. Although as a whole the architecture of this mosque emphasizes Chinese art, the influence of Arab Islam can still be seen on some parts of the mosque. This mihrab, or prayer niche, for example, is decorated with Arabic calligraphy. Calligraphy, or khat, is among the Islamic art elements which alters the appearance of early Chinese mosques. The name given to this mosque also has its own history. During the end of the Tang dynasty and early Song dynasty, mosques were called Li Tang, which means meeting hall. Two new terms emerged afterwards: Li Bai Tang, which means prayer hall, and Si Tang, which means a place of worship. Then in the 13th century, mosques were called Qing Chen Si, which means a place of worship, cleansing and truth. This term was used for another 2 centuries. Mosques have also been called Qi Jian, which means government building. The Songjiang Mosque, more than 600 years old, has undergone renovation processes at least 7 times. The repair work done was considered routine work because nearly all the early mosques of China were built using wood, which decayed easily under the weather. This mosque was once repaired in 1391 and 1582 during the Ming dynasty, in 1677 and 1821 during the Qing dynasty, and in 1955, 1980 and 1982 during the era of the People's Republic of China. More Islamic elements were added each time this mosque was repaired. During the early years of Islam in China, which was in the Tang dynasty from the 7th century till the Song dynasty in the 13th century, mosques were built by Arab Muslim merchants only in cities where commercial activities were greatest. More mosques were built during the Yuan dynasty, from 1279 until 1368. Other than the merchants' mosques during that time were also built by the military, scholars, government officers and missionaries. However, the history of mosques in the Yuan dynasty was not fully documented. To historians, the Songjiang Mosque, built by Muslim soldiers, is one of the best examples of the mosque architecture during the Yuan dynasty. Another distinction of early mosques in China was the extra building next to the prayer hall, which was used variably as a meeting room, classroom, or a missionary centre. In Songjiang Mosque, there are 3 such supplementary buildings, which are used for various mosque activities. This building, for example, is used as a resource centre to introduce Islam and local Islamic cultural activities. Here, visitors can get accurate information on Islam and the activities of the mosque. Songjiang Mosque also works closely with the Shanghai Islamic Society and Hong Kong Islamic Society. Also among the collection of this resource centre are several souvenirs from visitors, such as copies of the Quran. Committee members of the Songjiang Mosque have also prepared exhibition materials which contain basic information on Islam, the history and culture of the local Muslims, and the Islamic heritage in China. Among them are the coins which were once used by Muslim Arab merchants, and copies of old Qurans. For the local Muslims, a visit from brothers in Islam from overseas is regarded as important because it is through this that they can gain information on Islam's development, change ideas, and create partnerships in various fields. Currently, there are only 300 Muslims in Songjiang. This number is far lower than before because many local Muslims have migrated to the city of Shanghai, which offers better job opportunities. However, this does not weaken the spirit of the Muslims who are still staying in Songjiang. Congregational prayers, for example, are still done and monitored by the committee members on a rotational basis, including the Imam Yusuf Shah Ki Liang. The arrival of Islam to Shanghai is closely tied with the history of the mosque building. During that time, the Mongols held vast lands. They also had soldiers who were originally from Persia. The soldiers were all Muslims. They were the ones who built this mosque. During that time, there was already a mosque for public use. Shanghai, a fast-developing city, still has a local Islamic committee. The Silk Road Hotel, with a Central Asian theme, has included Islamic elements in its architecture as a tribute to Islam, one of the religions embraced by part of Shanghai's inhabitants. This metropolitan city is fast developing. About 7 million people live in central Shanghai, which encompasses an area of around 749 square kilometres. Shanghai, which is the centre of commercial, banking, industrial, communications and entertainment activities, is held by the Chinese as the Paradise City. Its development is comparable with other metropolitan cities in the United States and Europe. Its efficient and comprehensive transportation system of highways, railroads, air and sea transport have become the backbone for Shanghai's rapid development. Added to this is the role of the Huangpu River as the gateway for trade in and out of Shanghai. We grabbed the chance to see for ourselves the various activities along the Huangpu River. The Huangpu River is one of the busiest ocean trade routes in the People's Republic of China. Ships and boats of various sizes travel along the Huangpu River almost incessantly. The activities along this river have in fact become busier with the opening of the Pudong Economic Development Zone, a special new zone which was opened recently on the left bank of the Huangpu River. The areas along both banks of the Huangpu River are packed with small and medium-sized industries which support the bigger industries in the Shanghai town centre. Cruising along the Huangpu is a must for tourists. The journey to and from took nearly 4 hours. However, the journey was not tiring because the boat was very comfortable, and the scenery along the banks was breathtaking.